All right. Hey, everyone. I am here with Kim Laforet. Hey, Kim.
Hi there. How are you today, Jennifer?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Now, you're with Coldwell Banker at Hubble Briarwood in Lansing, Michigan, correct?
Correct.
Great. And we are going to talk today about teams and your experience with growing your team and where you're at now in your process. But can you give us some context? So how long have you been in real estate?
I got into real estate probably before you were born, 1976.
Oh,
And
pretty close. Yeah.
yeah, okay. And I by the time the early 90s rolled around, I was very successful in what I was doing, but I was burning out. There, I just couldn't do it all. And of course, that's when technology started to come into the
Right.
picture a little bit as well, supposedly to make our lives easier, but trying to learn all that and everything on top of it was just overwhelming. Uh,
Do you remember back then, like average realtors did like how many deals? Like back in maybe like the 80s or early 90s.
I'm going to guess it wasn't much different really than it is right now as far as average realtor. And I'm
Okay.
assuming that's maybe about 15 deals a year. That
Oh,
would be my guess as to what average
oh,
is.
no, it's like I think the average is like less than 10 now.
Oh, is it? Wow.
It's like
Okay.
5 or 10. It's not much. So that
That's
is funny when you
crazy.
think about like the introduction of technology and making it easier. But do you remember was the what was everybody saying about teams? Because there weren't like large teams back then, right?
There weren't any teams. I actually came up with the idea myself. I never heard about it from anybody else. And I thought, if I just had somebody that was helping me show homes, if I
Mhm.
just had somebody that was doing paperwork for me, all that stuff. And so I started putting together job descriptions
Okay.
and I started looking all over the country through the NAR website, through calling brokers that I knew from all over the country saying, hey, have you, how do
Yeah.
you develop a team? And they're like, a what?
So
So,
your thought process was well, you said you were like kind of tired and you were like, if I could get people to do this, then was your thought that you would focus more on selling or that you would take a break?
no, focus more on
Oh,
selling.
I'd be like, I'm
That,
taking a vacation.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I was just focused more on selling and be able to do what I wanted to do because I love selling. And so
Right.
still to be able to do that, but have somebody else take over the parts that I really didn't enjoy doing
Yeah,
necessarily,
right.
mainly the
Exactly.
paperwork.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't find anybody that was doing that. And so
So
what I,
interesting, right? And now it's
yeah,
like you're day 3 in the business, they're building teams.
I know. And that's just sort of crazy in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
So
what
what
I
happened?
wanted,
Who did you find or how did it work?
I didn't find anybody. So I
Mhm.
just started doing things myself. And then I ran across Walter Sanford, an old real estate name. He was a trainer at, I think it was a NAR conference or something. And he was talking about how to hire an assistant. And
Okay.
I thought, bingo, okay, that's what I need to start. Because too many people go in and they go, hey, I want to get together with another agent. We want to form a team. You need an admin first,
Right.
somebody that can take care of the business that you've got coming in already so
Right.
you can do more business.
Right.
Either that or so you can take time off and have more of a life.
Right.
And so that leads us to the thing that I always ask people because I had done some training for teams with Coldwell Banker
Hmm.
here in Lansing over the years. And the first thing I would ask them is, why do you want to join it? Why do you want to start a team?
Okay.
Because if you don't know what your why is, how are you going to know that you ever achieved what you wanted
What
to?
were some of the reasons why people said that they wanted to start a team?
They wanted more balance of life.
Okay.
They wanted more sales and more income.
Hmm.
Uh, those were the two major things that I would hear from people. One of the ones that I also had in there was I wanted to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
I knew that what had been successful for me in the past, I didn't want to just take that to the grave with me.
Right.
I wanted to be able to train others to do things the way that I had done them, and then maybe build up a generational business
Right.
so that when I'm the age that I am right now, I wouldn't necessarily be out there selling anymore. And
I think
that's where
that's a
I'm
lot
at.
of things that's something that gets overlooked a lot. It's like, what happens when you're done doing it, regardless of like, maybe you're, you still, maybe you want to do something else, or maybe but you spent all of this time and all of your energy building this business, building your processes, and then what,
Yep, exactly. Well, and I found too that I would see agents that were very successful and they would retire and their clients would be abandoned. I mean,
Right.
they would say, "Oh, I want you to call Susie Smith or something." Well, they
Right.
never would because they didn't know who Susie Smith was.
Right.
And so this retired agent had no income source coming in.
Right.
Susie never got any leads
Right.
because she didn't know what to do with anything.
Right.
And so I thought, that is just crazy. You're orphaning these clients. Why instead don't I bring other people on so that they develop a relationship with my clients while I'm still in the business?
Okay. Yeah.
And work and grow
That makes more sense. So you hired, I assume that you hired your administrator first.
Uh-huh.
And then what happened? When did you start bringing salespeople on?
It was probably, that would have been in like 1992 or something like that. In 1994, I brought on my first buyer's agent.
Okay.
And what I wanted to do was just somebody to go out and show houses for me, pretty much, and just work strictly with buyers. And that's still how I have worked my team over the years, is that when I bring someone new on, they're working first with buyers.
Okay.
And then they morph into working with sellers. Well,
are you sending them? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just brought a new team member on just a couple of months ago, and she has worked out fabulously.
Nice.
And I've actually brought her on, and the girls are training her to do both. So she's actually doing listings as well as sales right now.
Nice. So what are some of the best practices that you have found and that you could offer? Like maybe your top 1 to 3 best practices on bringing somebody on. So I hear your first one is letting them just do the buyers. Are they doing all the buyers, or just like are you cherry picking?
Well, I have to think back because right now I'm not in sales anymore.
Okay.
And so what I do is I've got 3 women that are in sales right now,
Okay.
plus admin. So
Nice.
I never wanted to build this huge team because I really don't like managing people.
Right.
I like sales.
Yeah.
And that's what I find with most successful salespeople. They're not good managers.
Manage. Right.
So why start this huge team? Because that's what you're going to be doing, is doing HR work all day, which
yes.
makes
No,
your
thanks.
mind explode.
Yeah. No.
So instead, what I did was, when I brought my first person on, I worked with them, and every sale that I had, they also got a piece of it.
Okay.
But I would have them do certain things during the transaction. That's when there was just 2 of us and I was still in sales.
Okay.
When I brought other people on, now what I do is they come on and they go on a rotating, we used to call it floor schedule. So what we do now is every lead that comes in, somebody's on for 3 days.
Okay.
Whoever's on for 3 days, those are their leads, unless they call and ask for another team member, of course.
Okay.
And then it just rotates.
And then they can bring their own leads too. So like,
oh
those
yeah,
stay theirs. Yeah, these are just like inbound.
right. Yep. Website leads, cold calls, any of that kind of
Whatever.
stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. So right now you have the 3 sales agents, and what do you do for the team, or what's your role?
My role is pretty much as Rainmaker right now, to work just to bring the business in.
Okay.
I'm very active with CRS still, and to
What's
take
that?
Oh, you don't know CRS? Oh, Certified Residential Specialist.
It's I got you with your
awesome
designation. Okay.
Yes, yeah, and that, I think they say like only the top 1% of all agents belong to that organization, because it's a series of courses you have to take over time. Gotcha. And then you have to continue courses in order to keep your designation up. Okay. And I've gotten so many referrals from that over the years, and so much knowledge, and I pass that on to the team.
Nice.
I'm also looking at oh, I'm reading like Inman News all the time and,
Yeah.
the realtor.com or whatever and all that stuff. And any information that I find that I know that they can use out in the field, I'm
Yeah.
sort of doing that right now
Right. 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 That makes
because
sense.
I'm too old to be out showing how. I shouldn't say that. I'm tired of, I mean, I've been in the business for so long.
It's a
This is,
long time.
yeah, I prefer to do this now. And I'm running for our local school board this next year. And
Oh,
so
cool.
it's freed up time so I can do things like that I'm passionate about.
And what is your vision? Like, let's fast forward to the next like 5 or 10 years. How, like, what does it look like for you and your team then?
Pretty much the same as what it looks like right now. I
Nice.
really
Okay.
feel like I've worked this for so many years to get it to this point, and it works.
Yeah.
So my vision is to not really have any more salespeople. Three, I think, is great because two out of the five on our team are my daughters. One's the
Okay.
admin and another one is in sales. And so when we go on a family vacation, if there's only one other salesperson, it's all on their shoulders,
Right.
everything.
Right.
So I wanted to have another person there, and Christy's filled that role beautifully
Nice.
so far. So I can't see it any different than what it is because this is what I'd always dreamed of, where I take a lower percentage now because I'm not out in the field,
Right.
but all of the past years of clients, the expertise that I've been able to convey to them and stuff like that, I just work on feeding
Well,
that
that's
to
that
them.
legacy part of it, right? And so at some point, I imagine that you'll be turning it over to one of their daughters or
I don't know.
whatever.
I don't
Maybe,
know.
maybe not.
I mean, I can, as long as I can continue doing this, and it's really, I'm 66 years old, and so I
You're young.
can,
66 is the new
oh,
48.
I know. Well, there you go. Sometimes my body doesn't feel like it, but I'm working on it. Oh, but
What
it's,
would, oh,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to say the way that we've structured this and stuff, I really see us just continuing to empower the ladies to do more. Like my admin, I've got her doing more things with, I still pay the bills and things like that, but I've got her doing more things right now
Right.
that gives her more, empowers her to do some more things.
So you have one main admin that does, okay, so is she doing like transaction coordination and inputting listings and stuff like that?
Correct.
And other
Mm-hmm.
admin duties. Okay. And then you have
Yep.
you, oh, that it sounds
Right.
like you're taking over, or you do the generating leads, and then you're taking over some of the like auxiliary administrative stuff, like financial type stuff.
Correct.
Okay. And then the other three, what, because I think that like 4 to 6 number for a team seems to be like not only the most profitable, but kind of like a good mix. Why do you think that is? I mean, have you seen that? Because any more, and it's like you said, you're managing people, and any less, it's like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it really depends on what the person is looking for.
Yeah.
I find this perfect for what we're doing because it balances us.
Mhm.
I nearly had a nervous breakdown back in the 1980s because I was doing everything. I was a
Yeah.
mother of 3 school-age kids. Uh, Thankfully, I've got a husband that loves to cook and he's always been very supportive.
That's
But
good.
I can't imagine if I was a single mom like
It would have been terrible.
yeah, Danielle Kennedy, the
Yeah.
stories that she told and stuff
Right.
from years ago. And so I wanted balance of life. And I wanted that for the other people that came on with me so that nobody is overwhelmed, but they're still making a good income.
Right.
They're doing things the way that I have been, that's been successful for me. So there's continuity with my clients
Hmm.
because we've sold from generations now. I mean, grandma and
Oh yeah.
grandpa, mom and dad, the kids, and now their kids. So we're actually into 4
That's
generations in
awesome.
some families. And to me, that is just,
That's so cool. Do you
yeah.
think that your team makeup would be different if your daughters weren't there, if they were all strangers?
Mm, I think it depends on the personality types. And
Hmm.
that's one of the things that I do with people when they come on as well. Before I take them on, I have them do the disc profile. I
Okay.
want to know once I look at that, and you can pretty much tell whether they're going to be good in sales or
Yeah.
whether they're going to be good in admin,
Right.
whatever. And so I do the disc profile first. And if I don't think it's going to be a good fit, it's like,
like culturally for the
I
team. Yeah.
yeah, and I want to save them the time of getting licensed and all that stuff and everything too.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I do a contract. If I do say that, yes, I take them on a contingent basis. So it's a 90-day trial period.
Okay.
During that 90 days, they are expected to do the things that we ask them to do, go on the schedule, take
Hmm.
the training that's offered to them, not only through Coldwell Banker, but through our team. Because
Okay.
every 2 weeks, we have a team training meeting for
Oh,
2 hours
nice.
on a Wednesday. Like
That's
tomorrow,
good.
we're going over commissions
Okay.
and, how to enroll playing commissions and things like that.
Nice.
Um, and then we have our annual team meeting as well, which we just had last week, where we lay out everything that we're going to do in the following year.
Yeah, and that's
So
a good time, like that you would have done, yeah, like in October, which is a good time. A lot of people wait till December, but really October is business planning month. Yeah.
exactly, because you're too
Mhm.
busy with Christmas and all other things in
Well,
December.
and we have a 90-day sales cycle, pretty
Right.
much. I
Yeah.
mean, so whatever you do today is going to show up in 90 days. If you wait
Good
until
point.
January, it won't show up until March or April, you know?
Yeah. You're behind the eight ball already.
So that was one of my questions. How do you hold them accountable? My other question was, do you find as you're adding a team member that you prefer unlicensed or newly licensed people, or do you prefer people that have experience?
Again, it depends on their personality.
Mhm.
My daughter got into it as an unlicensed person,
Okay.
but I knew since she was 16, I used to say, honey, you need to get your real estate license. She goes, I'm never going to sell houses, but.
And here she
And
is.
she called me after she was, finished up with her stint for college and stuff like that. She called, she goes, what do you think if I got my real estate license? Do you think I'd be very successful? I went, I don't know, honey, take the test and see if you can pass. I'm like, yeah.
I
And
think
she is
it's,
like, she
yeah,
sold almost 60 houses herself already this year. I
that's
mean, it just,
amazing.
yeah.
She's good.
So,
I think it's easier too with somebody you know, right? Because like
yes,
it's your daughter, but like what about people you don't know?
I don't know because I've never brought on anybody that I don't know.
Oh, the
Um,
new person you didn't know, you knew them?
Well, I shouldn't say that. I like when Lee came on with me, I think in 2011,
Hmm.
I met her at a Women's Council of Realtors event.
Oh, uh-huh.
And and she was with our company, but in a different office. We have 5 offices here.
Okay.
And so I just got to know her and I was like, man, I like this girl. I like what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And she was struggling. So she had been in the business maybe 6 or 8 months or so and very well connected and everything, but just struggling. She just didn't have that
Hmm. Hmm.
mentor there to hold her accountable and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I asked her to come on the team and she did. And
There you
she
are.
does wonderfully. And then Christy, our latest hire, I knew as an acquaintance,
Okay.
and she had just gotten licensed with another company. And my daughter, my other daughter, who's a nurse, we're not even affiliated with us. I
Hmm.
told her I was looking for somebody to balance out our team. And she said, we'll give Christy a call. She just got, I said, she's licensed? I didn't even know that. So I called her and she'd only been licensed a short time and she was on a team, but she wasn't getting any direction, she said.
Yeah.
And, she loved the people where she was and stuff, but she wasn't getting the attention that she needed. So I brought her on and she's the one that's doing great guns. So I think it depends on
It
the
just depends.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said like, if I'm just kind of like summarizing what we talked about, you said the first thing is like be clear as the leader what you're actually looking for and
Mhm.
have like your processes and systems and like write down what your expectations are.
Yep.
And then it sounds like what I'm hearing is it's more important to find a culture fit because that
Yes.
other stuff, it seems like as long as they have, you're still looking, or it seems like you're still looking for some like key indicators that they will be successful at the tasks.
Right.
But like as long as you see those and they are like a culture fit, it feels
Mhm.
like your process will teach them the like how to type.
Yep.
Am I summarizing
Definitely.
you right?
Yep. If they have a teachable spirit,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You can
you can do
tell.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And
You can
especially if
tell.
you like get to know them, like you said, even if they're like acquaintances or friends of friends, and you can see how they interact, and how they
Mhm.
interact with others is how they're going to interact with the clients and
Right.
you and the team and
Mhm.
all that. Right.
Exactly.
So if you could, people that are looking to grow a team, let's say that it's like they have a good reason that they want to do it, what other advice would you offer them when they're considering should they do it or should they not do it? Or even if it's advice around like who to hire, or like, what is your kind of like golden nugget here?
My first, we've already discussed, it's figure out your why.
Yep.
And then
What is not a good reason to start a team?
to make more money.
Right.
In
I
my
know,
opinion.
right? I agree. And honestly, every time I ask that question, that's what every single person says. And when I talk to people who are thinking of starting the team, they think they can make more money.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
You got to remember, you're going to be splitting your money.
And you have more expenses.
And have more expenses. Yeah, exactly.
So if you think it's because you're gonna get more money, it's the wrong, it's not true. That's a myth.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay.
You can make more money on your own, and that's logical.
Yeah.
Because you're not splitting it with anybody.
Right. And your expenses are lower because there's so many things that, like, if you have one or two people, it's the same. But then when you add a third or fourth person, the charges go up kind of somewhat exponentially. But if they're not bringing in enough to cover that, you know what I mean? Like it can get out of control pretty quick. And it sounded like you had another thing. So know your why. And what was your second one that you were going to say?
Hire an admin first.
Absolutely.
And then when you have that admin, have them develop systems with them and put it in writing so that you've got systems in writing, and then create a job description for your first agent hire, exactly what you want them to do, and make them sign that. Bring them on for 90 days. You're going to know at the end of 90 days whether they're going to wash out or be
up
good.
to 90 days.
Yes.
You might know that first week, like, oh crap.
Yeah, what did I do?
What happened?
Oh, but also have them take that disc test. I think Tony Robbins offers a free disc profile.
Yeah, I believe he does.
Yeah, and you don't have to spend $200 to do one. Just do one of the freebies. It'll give you a good base anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. And then just like looking at how they deal with people and interact with people when they don't know that you're looking.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I think if you just do all of those things right there,
all you have to do is
that's all.
Be patient. Kim, do you know any patient realtors? I know zero.
Lord, give me patience. I want it now.
I literally think I've heard patience is a virtue like 10 times to me. Like it's a virtue I do not possess.
Yeah, I think most good agents have ADD.
Right. Or we have a sense, I like to call it pleasantly persistent or a sense of urgency. You know, we're trying to help.
Like squirrel.
Exactly. Well, I really appreciate you being on. It's always like fun to have somebody who has so much experience and kind of seen all the things, participate in. But if people do have a referral for your team in Lansing, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
They can email us at team@laforetteam.com. LAFORETTEAM.com.
Easy enough. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Kim.
Thank you, Jennifer. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.